You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page as well. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we review match number 21 of IPL 2021 between the Punjab Kings and the Kolkata Knight Riders. It's the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast, and let's get started. Let's have a look at the match summary from game number 21 of IPL 2021 from Ahmedabad between the Punjab Kings and the Kolkata Knight Riders. The Punjab Kings batted first and made 9 for 123 from their 20 overs. Agarwal top scored with 31 of 34 balls. Krishna took 3 wickets for the Knight Riders. The Kolkata Knight Riders chased down the runs, finishing on 5 for 126 from 16.4 overs. Owen Morgan top scored with 47 not out of 40 balls. Enriques, Huda, Shami and Singh all took 1 wicket each for the Punjab Kings. The Kolkata Knight Riders won by 5 wickets and Owen Morgan was named man of the match. What were some of the key moments and key factors from this match between the Punjab Kings and the Kolkata Knight Riders? I thought the Kolkata Knight Riders bowling were one of the key factors in this match because they kept the Punjab Kings to 9 for 123 on this Ahmedabad surface. The other key factor was the partnership between Tripathi and Morgan of 66 for the 4th wicket. Pretty much got the Knight Riders over the line because the Knight Riders were 5 down for 98 inside 14.1 overs and looking in a bit of trouble. But that partnership, along with contributions from Tripathi, Morgan, Kartik and Russell, got the Knight Riders over the line to win this match by 5 wickets. Let's have a look at the Punjab Kings team performance in this match. We'll start with their batsmen. Rahul, 19, Agarwal, 31, Gal, 0, Huda, 1, Puran, 19, Enriques, 2, and Shahrukh Khan, 13. Their batting was poor, the Punjab Kings, in this match against the Kolkata Knight Riders. And that's been the story for the Punjab Kings throughout this whole IPL season thus far, is their batting. They've lacked consistency with the bat. Their scores batting this season in the IPL have been 6 for 221, 8 for 106, 4 for 195, 120 all out, 1 for 132, and 9 for 123. So it tells you the story there, that the batting has been good and then it's been bad. So that inconsistency with their batting has continued into this game against the Knight Riders. I thought in this game they didn't bat well. They didn't bat smart. They played reckless shots, didn't take time to get in and get set, didn't back up partnerships. And was it because the change of venue from the Punjab Kings? Because their last game was in Chennai, and obviously they've gone to Ahmedabad now. So was it the change of conditions and not reading the conditions here in Ahmedabad? Not reading the conditions, not adapting to the conditions? Or was it the pitch? Or was it good bowling from the Kolkata Knight Riders? Or was it poor batting from the Punjab Kings? I think it's all of those factors there, the pitch, good bowling from the Knight Riders, and poor batting again from the Punjab Kings, because they're lacking consistency with their batting. And we saw the same problem with the Punjab Kings when they went from Mumbai to Chennai. They struggled in that first game in Chennai. But in the second game against the Mumbai Indians, they were able to adapt to the conditions and win that game by 9 wickets. They chased down the 131 runs that the Mumbai Indians set to finish on 1 for 132. They batted well in that game. And the challenge for the Punjab Kings were to back that up in this game against the Knight Riders. But they didn't. In this game, they didn't bat the way they batted against the Mumbai Indians. Obviously, change of conditions, being Chennai to Ahmedabad, different conditions. But still, they didn't have the same plans and the same batting that they did against the Mumbai Indians in this game against the Kolkata Knight Riders. They sort of went off that. And it took me back to that game they played in Chennai where they struggled. It's the same thing here again. So for the Punjab Kings, it's just not adapting to conditions. They struggled when they went from Mumbai to Chennai, and then they were able to win that game against the Mumbai Indians in Chennai. They come from Chennai to Ahmedabad. Yet again, we know Ahmedabad being a good surface. Obviously, that T20 series we saw against India and England We saw scores of well over 180 plus up towards 200. Unfortunately for the Punjab Kings, they did not quite adapt well to the conditions and they struggled. So for them, it's just about that consistency and adapting to different conditions. And for the Punjab Kings, they really need to improve that going forward, because if they don't, then they've got to really struggle with their batting. It's all about adapting to different conditions. And every team in the IPL this year have struggled with the bat because we've gone from different venues. All the teams are not playing at home because this IPL season, all the teams are not playing at home, so they're all playing at neutral venues. And it takes a bit of time to get used to different pitches and conditions, different grounds, which are not familiar to you or your team. So for the Punjab Kings, probably that's gone against them this season, is they haven't been able to adapt to conditions with the bat. And that's why they've been struggling, and that's why they've been inconsistent. And it's been a real problem this season. And we saw it in this game against the Kolkata Knight Riders. Everyone expected the Punjab Kings to win this game against the Kolkata Knight Riders. Unfortunately, they didn't win. They lost. So it was a poor batting display once again from the Punjab Kings. They need to go back to basics with the bat and try and get better at adapting to conditions. Reading the pitch, what's it doing, the bowlers, the pitch conditions, okay, and take responsibility as a batsman, because I did not see any responsibility from the batsman in this game at all. No one put their hand up and said, I'm going to be the guy to bat through the whole innings and be that anchor role. No one did that. So for the Punjab Kings, there's a lot of work to do with their batting. You could say they may change some personnel in terms of their batting. I think they can make some changes to their personnel in terms of the batting order. Nicholas Pooran's been struggling for a bit. In this game, he made 19, which is okay, but not a great score. You need some more runs from him, being your overseas player. They've got Darwin Malan in the sheds. You know, they haven't used him this IPL season. You bought him at the auction. What's the point of buying him at the auction if you're not going to use him? So I think for the Punjab Kings going forward, him being the number one T20 batsman in the world can offer something different to this batting order. And hopefully for the batting order, he can improve it and the batsmen can get better as well. So I think Darwin Malan should come in for Pooran for the next game and probably the next games after that, because they need to change up something with their batting. Because at the moment, it's been really poor. So bring him in, I say. Take out Pooran and bring in Darwin Malan. I think that's what the Punjab Kings need to do with their batting going forward. So overall, once again, the Punjab Kings, their batting has been inconsistent. There's a lot of work to do to get better and improve it. And they need to do it quickly, because if they don't, it's going to be a very tough IPL season for them in terms of the batting. Let's have a look at their bowlers. A wicket each for Huda, Enriques, Shami and Ashdeep Singh. No wickets for Jordan and Bishnoi. I thought they bowled all right in this game, the Punjab Kings. Defending 123 was always going to be a tough ask. It always is when you defend a total of 120 odd. But I thought they did well to take wickets. They had the Knight Riders 5 down for 98 at one stage. So they had a bit of a chance of winning this match. But unfortunately, in the end, the partnership between Tripathi and Morgan of 66 with the 4th wicket, and Morgan's partnerships with Russell and Kartik pretty much took the game away from the Punjab Kings. But the one positive I liked about their bowling was they were able to take wickets and still have the belief that we can still win this game, even though we posted a low score on the board. So overall, I thought their bowling was okay. Overall, it was a disappointing performance from the Punjab Kings. They need to turn things around quickly, look to get better, and improve as a team going forward. Let's have a look at the Kolkata Knight Riders team performance in this match. We'll start with their batsmen: Gill 9, Rana 0, Tripathi 41, Narine 0, Morgan 47 not out, Russell 10 and Kartik 12 not out. I thought the Kolkata Knight Riders batting today was slightly better compared to their previous games. It wasn't the greatest batting performance from them, but they were able to win this game. Yet again, the top order failed again. Another batting collapse with the top order. There were 3 down for 17 inside 3 overs. That's an indication of how the top order's been going this season. Terrible. That's the word to use. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. You can't keep having those batting collapses early. The top order's really been struggling. You need the top order to fire in a T20 innings for you. And for the Knight Riders, they're not getting any runs from Gill, Rana, or Narine, who's been promoted up the order to be a pinch hitter, essentially. And that's what we know what Narine's role in this Kolkata Knight Riders batting side is, in this batting order, I should say, is that he's that sort of pinch hitter. And if you get runs off him, if you get runs from him, I should say, that's a bonus. But when it doesn't work, and it sort of backfires. And it sort of did today. Yet again, they keep having these batting collapses. It's a common theme this season from the Knight Riders, is that they always have these batting collapses. The top order are going to be better than that. You can't be 3 down for 17 inside 3 overs, chasing a score of 123, which most people expect you to chase down easily because it's not really a big score. But to be 3 down for 17 inside 3 overs just shows the top order are really struggling for runs and are out of form, essentially. And the top order partnerships were 5, 4 and 8. That's an indication as well that the top order is not firing. So there's a lot of work to do with the top order in terms of getting better and hopefully for them, scoring more runs for the Kolkata Knight Riders going forward. Then the Knight Riders were 3 for 17. Then there were 5 down for 98. So inside 14.1 overs. So the Knight Riders usually, when they're 5 down for 90 or something like that, they usually have a big batting collapse and that's the end of the game and they lose the game. But I thought what they did well today, and this is a slight improvement on their batting, it was great to see some responsibility being taken by Tripathi and Owen Morgan. Now, Morgan being the captain, he led from the front. And good to see those two take responsibility with the bat and say, no, we're not going to have another batting collapse again. Sure, we're 5 down for 98, but we're not going to roll over and lose this game. We're going to hold the innings together, form a partnership, which they did, for the 4th wicket, which was 66 for the 4th wicket. Pretty much that partnership, along with Morgan's partnerships with Russell of 15 for the 5th wicket and Kartik of 28 unbeaten for the 6th wicket, those partnerships pretty much got the Knight Riders over the line. So I thought Morgan and Tripathi's innings of responsibility was good, taking that responsibility upon themselves to get the job done and stop these batting collapses. And I thought the contributions from Russell and Kartik were handy as well in terms of the Knight Riders winning this game and chasing down the runs. So that's a slight improvement from the Knight Riders because they were 5 down for 98 and in the previous games, if the Knight Riders were 5 down for 90-odd, they would have had a massive batting collapse and lost this game. But in this game, they were able to find a way to stop that from happening and chase down the runs and get the job done. And it's great to see that from the Knight Riders. So overall, I thought their batting today was slightly better compared to their previous games. There's still a lot of work to do. The top order can get better. Every batsman can get better in this Kolkata Knight Riders side. But what I saw today are little glimpses of improvement, and that's good for the Knight Riders going forward. They've got to keep improving and show that improvement with the bat from now on in until the end of the IPL season. So overall, their batting was okay. Good job to win this game and find a way and not have another batting collapse. But for them now, the challenge is as a batting group is to improve and get better as they go on in this IPL season. Let's have a look at their bowlers. 3 wickets for Krishna, 2 wickets for Narine and Cummins, 1 wicket each for Mavi and Chakravarti, no wickets for Russell. I thought they bowled pretty well today, the Knight Riders. They took wickets throughout the Punjab Kings innings, executed their lines and lengths, executed their plans with the ball, and the bowlers worked well together and all contributed in terms of getting wickets or saving runs. So I thought their bowling today was pretty good. Good to see Narine get back into the wickets. He got 2 wickets today. Good to see him getting back into the wickets column. Good to see that from him. He's been really struggling of late. And all the bowlers did their role and jobs quite well. So overall, their bowling was good, the Knight Riders. Overall, it was a great performance from the Knight Riders. Good to see them get a win and keep that fighting character and resilience there, which is very important for the Knight Riders. They've got to show that fight and resilience and that fighting spirit and character because they have been struggling this season, but great to see them finally win a game. And obviously for them now, it's just trying to build on this and hopefully for them they can get a few more wins to win this IPL season. Let's have a look at the Punjab Kings' potential 11 for their next match against the Royal Challengers Bangalore. And I think they will make a change to their team for their next match, the Punjab Kings. I think Nicholas Pooran may miss out because he's been struggling of late, Pooran, in these last few games for the Punjab Kings with the bat. And I think Dawood Malan can come in to replace him because Malan is a good player, obviously T20 number one T20 batsman in the world, I should say, and it's no good having him on the sidelines if you bought him at the auction. You might as well use him. So I think Pooran to come out for Malan. So their potential 11 could be Rahul, Agarwal, Gale, Huda, Malan, Enriques, Khan, Jordan, Bishnoi, Shami, and Singh. Let's have a look at the Kolkata Knight Riders' potential 11 for their next match against the Delhi Capitals. And I don't think the Knight Riders will make any changes to their team. It's very important for the Knight Riders to keep the cohesion and consistency with this team going forward. It's very important that they build on that consistency and cohesion with this team. So their potential 11 could be Gill, Rana, Tripathi, Naren, Morgan, Russell, Kartik, Cummins, Mavi, Chakravarti, and Krishna. What can we expect from both teams heading into their next match? We'll start with the Punjab Kings. Their next match is against the Royal Challengers Bangalore on Friday at Ahmedabad. For the Punjab Kings, they need to learn from this match against the Kolkata Knight Riders and try to get better and improve for their next match against RCB. For them, the challenge is to be consistent and look to improve as a team. If they do that, we may see some wins come their way. The Kolkata Knight Riders' next game is against the Delhi Capitals on Thursday at Ahmedabad. For the Kolkata Knight Riders, it's about building from this performance against the Punjab Kings and backing it up against the Delhi Capitals. Need to work on their consistency as a team and with the bat and with the ball going forward. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast, and like and share our Facebook page. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.